think you really just have to ask yourself this question. It's like, how much are you willing to sacrifice? If you really want something, then you have to go get it.
So for that person then who is in traditional sales right now, considering tech sales, what would you tell them to start doing differently? Max was selling Teslas a couple weeks before joining Sword, where we got him into a great SDR role with ZoomInfo in just 11 days from his first interview. So y'all are going to enjoy this conversation. Max is going to talk a little bit about what it's like coming from a traditional sales background into tech sales, some of the challenges, but also some of the benefits once you can finally do it. So enjoy. Can we kind of go to the beginning of like what were you doing before tech sales and when did this stuff even pop on your radar?
Yeah, man. So I got the job at Tesla when I was 19, and at the time, I was literally just looking for a job while I was at home. I was away at college for my first year. I decided I want to transition back home. Wasn't optimal, so I went to community college, and I was doing this part-time. I was like, I might as well get a job. But I wasn't like, I don't know if I wanted to be like a cashier, get something like 7-Eleven job. Nothing wrong with that, but I wanted something a little bit more exciting.
Sure.
And so got super lucky with landing a job at Tesla. Um, had no idea what I got myself into, but I think the way that my parents raised me and just the way that even the Lord made me, just as like a go-getter. So it was like a whoa, I'm going to be selling cars, like not just cars, I'm going to be selling Teslas at 19 years old. I'm the youngest
Yes.
guy on the team. It's like fast-paced environment. I've never been in this type of environment before, only in sports. And so it's like, all right, it's like you can either crumble or we can rise to the occasion. And I chose to rise to the occasion and succeeded really well at it. Just found a love for sales. Um, just like yeah, true love for sales. Had a fun time, and I was doing that for I was with Tesla for about a year and a half, but at about like the 7th month mark, this is summer of 2025, I started to kind of think through. It's like, all right, I originally thought that I wanted to go through to psychology, this sort of counseling route, but I wasn't so sure of that where the Lord wanted me with that. And I was enjoying sales, and I was thinking like maybe this could be something in terms of a career transition. I didn't like the idea of being in car sales long term just because of I didn't like my schedule at all. Like having to work weekends, inconsistency, long days. Like at the time, I was working at Georgetown in DC, and these days were like 13 hours long because it was 2 hours of traveling, 10-hour work days, lots of traffic. I mean, pretty much every time I was driving back, I was like, this how like when you get tired, start sleeping, like you start like drifting. Like I was doing that, so it was getting dangerous, man. I truly think the Lord protected me from any sort of danger on the road there. Um, so I was kind of just processing through all that. Yeah, and there wasn't like clear kind of path to promotion with Tesla, like no real. I knew like I'd talked about my manager, possibly being in management, like that idea, but I'm going through all this thought process, long story short, and I'm on Instagram, and I'm just scrolling, and one of your videos pops up. I think I might have told you this before, um, and you just like you throw in that first hook. It's like I think you say something along the lines of "Men of God in sales." If your job is keeping you away from your family, you need to focus on tech sales. Like take a look at tech sales. And I mean, I don't have a family outside of my parents and my brother. But I'd been thinking about these sort of things, and I'm like, oh wait, I'm a man of God. I'm in sales. I'm thinking about long-term career. It's like, oh wait, let me take a look at this. So immediately just started like watching your videos, dove into tech sales, did a ton of research, started listening to um, higher levels with those guys, Connor, Murray, great guys over there. Got a ton of great content. I mean, I've listened to dozens of your testimonies. Like that was that was my number one podcast at the time on Spotify, was just listening to the testimonies of your people that you had helped out, just time and time again, where they had come from. And I just became inspired, I think is a good word to use, over time, just listening to the amount of people that came from these jobs where, they're working as a janitor in a school, or working, I think one of the guys you had on was working in some sort of real estate, making like 20, 30K a year, and
Yeah.
then went to making 80K, like tripled his income just from that. And so I was like, man, like this is like uh it's kind of captivating what this industry does. I'm like, I'm really, so I got kind of caught and um grabbed by this idea of tech sales. And so, but I didn't want to go into it blindly, be like, oh my
Mm.
gosh, this seems so great. So I really wanted to understand, all right, what are the pros and cons of it? Because the idea of tech sales that was first thrown at me is like, all right, you can be making $300,000 after a couple of years, and you're working 20 hours a week, right?
Yep.
Which can be the case, but that's kind of like the glorified lifestyle, and we don't
Yeah.
talk about the years going up to that. And I think if I didn't really kind of dive into it and was honest about, all right, I really want to know what this role is about, doing what I do now, I think that I would have been blindsided, and I don't, it would have been a
Mm.
lot harder to adjust.
Mm.
So, long story short, kind of just like lots of processing. I'm like, lots of prayer, just like, man, is this where I should be going into? Lots
Mm.
of processing through. I hit you up at one point over the summer, and I was like, hey, Jack, like I'm thinking about this. I don't know if I want to get into it.
Yeah.
Um, and felt some sort of confirmation. It's like, man, let me just take a leap of faith, right? In December of 2025, I was
Yeah.
like, let me just do this, man. And I contacted you, and we started the program. I don't know if I ever told you this, but it's kind of really cool looking back on the timing of it. There was some weird kind of politics stuff going on at Tesla at the time, which was kind of like making me more um, pushing kind of the decision about what I wanted to do. And I'd always wanted to stay at Tesla for at least a year, and I'd hit that year mark at that point. Um, a week after, literally the week after I had left Tesla, I put in my 2 weeks, and I transitioned into ZoomInfo. Um, half, almost more than half my team got laid off. Um, and like literally since that point, majority of the people that I knew working at Tesla aren't there anymore. So they went through like a kind of almost layoff process, but layoff process for my store specifically, like management change caused that. So crazy to think like I could have been a part of that.
Yeah.
So it's just like, man, like
Wow.
praise God for that timing. But yeah, yeah,
Wow.
long
Oh,
story
wow.
short, yeah.
Thank you for walking me through that. I did the math on your first interview to your offer. Dude, it was 11 days.
Is that right? Really? Wow.
Yeah. And I
That's
know
awesome, man.
you've been in the role for 2 months, so it probably doesn't feel like that. Probably feels like a year ago that all this happened. Um,
Mhm.
how's it been going, man? 2 months in, you were kind of told about this glorious lifestyle in tech sales, and the SDR role is the entry level role, man. It's hard. You grind it out. But 2 months in, how are you feeling about everything in general?
Yeah. I think the first word that I've been using when people ask me how I'm doing, how's the new job, I just say like I'm blessed, man. Like truly, I just feel blessed in so many different ways. This job is difficult. Like I'm talking, so I'm in the inbound side of leads. So I'm not sourcing anything. We kind of have these lists and leads that we're given on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And outbound, it's difficult in its own way, obviously, because you're doing all the sourcing of your own leads. And inbound, it's easier in the sense that you're giving your own leads, but there is no flexibility in your schedule. Like I get
Yeah.
to work at 7:45 and I'm not done until 5 p.m.
Yeah.
And when I got there, it's like I'm wondering about lunches. Are people taking lunches? It's like we're supposed to take lunches, but everyone takes lunches at their desk because we have what's called a router, and
Yeah.
nobody wants to turn off that router because if they miss it, then you don't get the leads that you want in order to book the meetings that you need to book and complete them. So it's like this, basically the best way I describe it is like this 8.5, 9 hour long game that you're a
Mhm.
part of. And if you really don't want to miss it, if you miss 15 minutes, then you're gonna have to get caught up again, right? So it's like it's intense in a lot of different ways, making 100 plus calls a day.
Yeah.
Um, so it's a lot, but man, amidst the difficulty, the Lord has done just beautiful work in it, building discipline and just like diligence
Mm.
within me. Tesla, I kind of got away with a little bit of lackadaisical work in the sense of like I could get away with, despite the pressure in the job itself, could get away with like fooling around a little bit. But this job is like, all right, like this is legit. Like it's, time to put on your boots. Like let's go. Um, so experiencing that, but Lord's just been gracious to me and allowing me to thrive in the environment so far. Man, just been doing well in the role. So feeling good
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, yeah, man.
I think for you, it's important we highlight that your launch pad is a really good launch pad, right? You ended up at ZoomInfo, phenomenal company, really good training, very well established in the market. And I think people can get caught up in the initial breaking into tech sales, which is like, hey, I went from, making 50K at this job to now I'm going to make, 80K in tech sales, whatever. That's a big jump. That's great. But that's not really the meat of tech sales. The meat of tech sales is 5 to 10 years in, 5 to 15
Yeah.
years in. That's when your career explodes. And so I'm looking at you in this office with beautiful high rises behind you, and I just see you at the beginning. Like you're 2 months in, man. You're just started. And to think that God is running you through this refinement process now, and He's going to over the next X months, He's getting you ready for what really is a much bigger arc down the road than maybe what we're seeing right now. And so, it's exciting getting into tech for sure, but it's going to be really exciting when you're in a position to
Hmm.
start making multiple six figures, so on and so forth. Um, and it's just the beginning. And I think
Yeah.
being 2 months in, it's important to remember that, just to encourage yourself. Like, dude, you don't have to have it all figured out right away either.
It's good. Yeah, so good, Jack. It's funny, I was talking with my manager this morning, just about like career pathway to promotion, and just talking about the fact that literally like if I keep going down the road that I'm going, um, you know, from the place that I'm at right now, in 4 to 5 years, 4.5, 5 years, I'm going to be enterprise account executive. And
Heck
I
yeah.
mean, the money there is crazy, right? And just to be thinking that at 25, I could be making that type of money, it's amazing. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. How old are you now?
20, about to turn
20?
21, in two
Bro,
months.
I was in jail at 19. I wish. I mean, I don't regret any of it. The Lord is good. But if I was doing what you were doing at 20 years old, man, that's awesome. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Let's get into the job search process a little bit. So you came in with sales experience. However, I still remember you getting that objection of like, well, you've never been an SDR before. You don't have SDR experience. How did that feel getting that feedback, even with very mature sales experience? And how did you actually navigate that?
Good question. Yeah, I think it definitely put me in an interesting circumstance that I hadn't been before. And one of the in tune with the season that I think the Lord has put me through, and just I've been talking about it with some of the guys that I'm close with, is just like building me up as a man of courage, and
Mhm.
just putting me in situations to facilitate difficult conversations.
Yeah.
And so it kind of just really pushed back, and was a moment. It's like, all right, like, this is not the easy road, right? Like if I really want to get to this point that I'm trying to get to, like, I'm gonna have to really push for it, and just push back on it, and really kind of sell myself and other people on who I am and who I want to become. So,
Mm.
just put me in difficult conversations. I think yielded lots of fruit and continue to yield fruit. And just honestly, it made me kind of ask questions like, all right, do you really want to do this, right? It's like,
Mm.
you don't have this, but put me in the situation. It's like kind of fired me up a little bit. Like, all right, yeah, it's like maybe I don't have this, but this is kind of a track record of my success, and my
Yeah.
hard work that I've put in.
How did you land the interview with ZoomInfo? Do you remember?
I do, yeah. I remember where I was in the moment. Found, still remember his name, Luke Porter, recruiter from ZoomInfo. Found his phone number, called him, and first thing he says to me, he says, "Hello." He's like, I'm like, "Hey, this is Max, calling about an interview." Said something else, and I remember at the end he told me it's like no one has ever called my phone before, like ever. And he pushed back on me in that moment. He's like, you applied for the outbound position. I don't know um, that you have any experience, for this position that's required. And put me in an uncomfortable situation that I had to overcome, right? And ended up about 5 to 10 minutes later, got off the call, sent me calendar invite for an interview. So
Dude,
it was dope, man. Yeah,
what what better way to overcome that objection than like the no SDR experience objection than by calling the recruiter, handling the objections on the call, and then everything else you did in the process after. It's like, yeah, I don't have SDR experience, but you just said out of your own mouth, no one else has ever done this before. So,
right, exactly.
oh
Yeah,
man, that's
yeah.
cool. So when they were asking you why you were going to leave Tesla, leave car sales for tech sales, what did you actually say?
Um, Sorry, repeat the question one more time.
When they asked you why you were going to leave car sales for tech sales,
Mhm.
what did you say?
Um, I remember answering this question. Um, I remember kind of just like looking back on my time at Tesla, and just really appreciating the ability to work for Tesla, like the company itself, and have the time that I was able to just be around hardworking people, people that invested a lot into me. So blessed to be able to have the experience in just so many different forms of facilitating just a number of different sales interactions that grew me in terms of even outbound, inbound. So was able to be versatile in those senses. So looking back on my time at Tesla was super grateful for it, but kind of like I said at the beginning, realized that where I wanted to be, Tesla wasn't going to take me, and the goal wasn't to just succeed at Tesla, but succeed at the things that I want long term. And I had long term goals to accomplish for my family, and I stumbled upon tech sales, and I knew that taking this route was going to achieve the things that I wanted
Yeah.
to in life. So yeah,
Yeah. I know the interview process was pretty intense over there. What do you think ultimately it was that had them think this is our guy and had them end up picking you?
yeah. Um, so I remember Luke called me about a couple hours after my final interview I had with my current manager and then the director of the inbound sales that we had there. And one of the things that he told me was the directors um, uh, texted him about 5 minutes after my interview and was like, please make sure that this guy gets hired. And one of the reasons they told me why is because just the things that I did to stand out. I mean, I could show you a text literally from Luke himself. He texted me after I accepted the offer. Um, and this is what he said. So I told him, thanks for all your help. He said, no problem at all. You crushed the whole process and set a new bar for incoming SDRs. I don't know if you
Yeah.
can see
Come
it,
on,
but
baby.
yeah, yeah. So,
Man.
man, I mean, just that's testimony to like your process, seriously. Like, this process is designed so that you can stand out, right? It's like, I mean, the amount of people, a couple of things during this process that this did for me is, first of all, it gave me empathy for people in the job process. Like, dude, like battling this with another job on top of it, it's an emotional roller coaster. It's a lot of hard work. Like, truly, truly a difficult season that went through in January. I was sick a couple times. I was like, man, I can't wait to be out of this. But I think it also, I've talked to so many people that are still in the job market process. They've been in it for over a year. And just it goes to show like how competitive it is. And you can't just kind of get away with applying anymore. That might have been the norm 5 years ago. It might have worked, but it's not working anymore. And I think that there really is an importance to having somebody that's beside you, walk you through this process that helps you stand out, right? And so I think that this process allowed me to do so. They'd never seen a slide deck. Like they were blown away by the slide deck. Um, I think, were blown away by my professionalism just during the interview, my sharpness with the questions. Just cool to hear the feedback and the fruit from that. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So for that person then who is in traditional sales right now, considering tech sales, and they're getting rejected by tech companies, like they're not even making headway, what would you tell them to start doing differently?
Person that's interested in tech sales right now
And they're
or
yeah,
not.
they're already applying. They're not making any progress though. They're not landing interviews. They're not really
Yeah,
breaking through any networking, anything like that.
yeah. I mean, you kind of got to give the perspective that you give to customers to yourself, right? I mean, when we're selling something to a customer, like we sell ZoomInfo, one of the things that we pitch to our customers is, where are you going to be if you don't have this, right? And I think that's the case with a lot of the things that we sell. It's like, all right, well, if you don't have this, where are you going to be without it? And so I think about, for the person that's in retail sales, like myself, car sales, furniture sales, whatever it may be, um, you're in that position and you're not content and it's not going to get you where you want to be. I think you really just have to ask yourself this question. It's like, um, how much are you willing to sacrifice to get to the point that you want to? Like um, how long are you willing to stay in this role, right? And like, what are you willing to give up for it, right? It's like, I think if you put it in kind of like a timeline sense, it's like, all right, if you really see yourself in this role for the next year, how is that going to go for you? If you get in this role, if you start getting in tech sales and you're in the account executive role in the next 12 to 15 months, it's like, what kind of changes are you going to see in your lifestyle for your family? So I think that you really just have to put it in perspective. It's like, all right, um, if I start this now, where am I going to be in, like you talked about long term, as opposed to if I kind of continue to coasting, hoping something pops up. I think that if you want something, I think one thing I've learned, it's like if you really want something, then you have to go get it, right? You can't just wait for it to come to your lap. And I think that's the case for a lot of things. So if you want something, then you got to go get it.
Well said. Well said. Well, I want to respect your time going 2 minutes over here. Thank you, Max. Really, really excited for you and everything to come in your career. God is so good, as we both know, and you did a great job of just trusting His plan, trusting His timing, and to be honest, like He didn't make you wait forever. This is a pretty quick process. So, very grateful for where He's led you and what He's about to do. And yeah, don't be a stranger to Sword, man. You're with us for life, right? So any support you need, any help you need, I'm gonna be a DM away, and I'm excited to keep cheering you on, brother.
Thank you, brother. One more thing I want to add, I was going to add it earlier, just as like a thank you as a part of the process. Not only did this help me get into tech sales, but actually yesterday I was invited onto our what's called ecom team. And
Okay.
there's only one of six, so it's a team of six SDRs in the whole organization that's
Yeah.
on this team. And I was one of three that was invited on. Three of them left and three of them got on. So just a privilege to be on that team. Only six of them in the whole organization. I was able to be a part of it. So yeah, man, just happy to be thriving in the role that I'm in, thanks to
Let's
you and your
go.
process.
Heck yeah, bro. Come on. Praise Jesus. Well, thank you. And yeah, don't be a stranger.